Aloha, and welcome to the Radiate Health and Wellness Podcast. Today, I invite you to join a conversation that I have with me and one of my great friends, Ines. We sit back and we just discuss the importance of self-love, what it means, how it can be attained. So if you have ever been struggling with self-doubt and thoughts that you're not good enough or not worthy, please stay tuned to this episode. You just may get the answers that you have been seeking. Aloha. Welcome to the Radiate Health and Wellness Podcast, where we explore the vibrant world of health and well-being. I'm your host, Christine D. Ross, a board-certified health and wellness coach specializing in behavior change and nutrition, and author of Discover the Adventure of You and Health Beings. Join me as we uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, and transformative insights to assist you on your journey to radiate health and wellness. Ines, you are such a great friend, and thank you for coming on. I welcome you to the Radiate Health and Wellness Podcast.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So a few weeks ago, kind of what brings you on the show here today is I put out asking what other people would like to hear from the podcast and what I can share. And do you remember what your reply was?
Something along the way with self-love, self-awareness, and some other things I can't recall right now.
Absolutely. And at that time, like the thought of self-love was really coming to me, and I already had it penciled in my calendar on like February 6th. I was going to do a podcast episode on self-love. And then we got in discussing how deep self-love like really goes. And I don't know about you, but I feel like there's just this urgency and for people to know their worth. So do you feel that urgency?
Yes, I do. I think lots of people struggle, especially right now and in this month, when everything is about love or whatever we are told that love is or should be. And then people, started doubting themselves maybe, or don't even know themselves in the first place. And I guess it's a great idea to maybe guide people into getting to know themselves, who they actually are. And then through that, they can actually find a way to self-love and all the other things that come with it.
Right. Well, you are definitely just a spinning example of what self-love is. And that's one of the reasons why I invited you. I mean, you know what it is. I see it shine and radiate within you.
Well, thank you.
So what is it that you do? I mean, what really is self-love? Let's start there.
That is a great question. And thank you that you see that in me. And at that point, I have to give it back to you because I am just a reflection. Whatever you see, I'm just a reflection of what you have in yourself. And so, and you must have it too. Yeah, what is self-love? In my eyes and in my thoughts, beliefs, is that self-love is actually the 100% acceptance of yourself. And with that, I mean all the great parts, that are in your life, that happened in your life, and also all the negative things, all the terrible things that happen in your life. If you can accept them, that they happened because they did, and there's nothing you can do about it right now, right? Just to plainly accept them that they are and happened, will give you the freedom of self-love. If you don't accept parts of it and you reject them, then resentment comes in and judgment comes in and all the other crazy negative things, and it will multiply. Resentment always multiplies, right? And it gets bigger. Attention will be drawn to it, and if you want it or not. And oftentimes it's unconscious that people reject parts of themselves or that things that happened. And unfortunate things happen in their life, finances, relationships, health, and they don't know why, right? Why? But I believe it's just parts that you haven't looked into it or have put them so far away deep down, not going there, because they were probably terrible, and but they show up in your life in other ways if you don't look at them, right? Life has its way of showing itself.
Right,
It smacks it right back in your face at some point. And yeah, so people get to that awareness point of themselves, who they actually truly are, and just accepting without any judgment. And then there's freedom, and with that freedom there comes expansion, and with expansions there's self-love, and then everything else can be added onto it that is good. What was the question?
What is self-love?
Oh yeah, right. What is
perfect.
self-love?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, first and foremost, I guess, 100% acceptance of whatever was, is, and that's a big one.
Yes. So do you have like a personal story or anything of where you really got to learn self-love and find that deep connection within yourself of who you are and grab hold of it and just love it?
I don't know. Probably because I had some terrible relationships when I was in my 20s, and I got stuck mentally, and I used to coach, and that helped a lot. Like, that's kind of like your part, right? Like, once we're sometimes so stuck and you can't go to certain places, or we don't know where to go, then we need an outside look, right? That helps us guide ourselves to it. But I still think we are our own best inner coach we can have. But yeah, and that coach gave me like millions of questions, a list of all my beliefs that I had about myself that I didn't even know I had, right? And just like you in your book, you go some places and with your questions. And yeah, that was a self-discovery of who I am.
So it's really
who I was.
So really tuning into your beliefs.
Yes, observing my beliefs and my thoughts of the beliefs, and that brought a lot of freedom, self-awareness, and self-knowledge. If you don't know yourself, you're living only half your life, I would say.
So would you say a big key of really loving yourself is knowing your authentic true self?
Yes. And that can take a lifetime to figure out, right?
Well, maybe that's part of our purpose here.
20 years ago, I thought, I knew who I was, and now I'm still figuring things out about myself that I didn't know about that myself. There's always new things that go deeper and deeper that you learn again and again, be more and more authentic to your true self, right? But for that, you need to know what your beliefs are. If you don't know them, then you're guided by outside forces, let's say maybe your parents, how your upbringing, or the media, or the news you read, or the things you scroll on your phone, or whatever, like this is.
Well, then be able to look at those beliefs and say, wait, where did these come from? Are these my real beliefs?
Yeah. I'm not so sure it's important that where they come from. It's important to know that they are there, and then do you want to keep them? Make this decision. Do you want to keep them, or do you want to replace them, right? And but the first part, to make yourself aware of them, is already extremely freeing, and makes space for, do I want that? Do I still want that? Is that my truth now? And it might have been, like in your past, that belief was true then, but you have changed, you have evolved, and now it's not true anymore. But your subconscious doesn't know that, right? It just acts still on this old beliefs from back in the days. And so I guess it's always good to reevaluate your beliefs over 5 years, 10 years, whatever you think. Whenever you think you're stuck on something, there's usually a belief that limits you in a way that you don't know.
Yes. So you're saying to really question your beliefs, see if they're yours, and if they still ring true to you. So what are some other things that you do besides looking at your beliefs and evaluating that really assist you in cultivating self-love each and every day?
Well, I don't know if I'm that good. I'm striving, yeah, but not Jesus yet. It's not. I don't know if it's so much a doing. I guess it's more a state of being.
Uh-huh.
If you know what I mean. For me, when people talk about love, there's, love as a verb and love as a noun. And the love as a verb is a doing, right? You do love, but love itself as a noun is like not so much a feeling, in my opinion. It's a state of being. You're tapping into that energy field of love, right? And if you're there, you know it, and then it just gets out everywhere, and it touches others too. And it's not that you do something, you just be in that field. Like, I was recently at the wedding at a friend's, and man, that couple that was so in tune and in that state of love that everyone who was there and actually witnessed it and was involved, they felt it too. It was like, boom, it went everywhere.
Radiate.
It radiated. Exactly. Yes. And it's not that they did anything, much differently. They just tapped into that field of energy, right? I mean, there are energy levels. Most people think that actually love is the highest energy field, but I believe it's actually authenticity. And you have to know who you are.
You said authenticity.
Yes.
So love and then authenticity.
As highest energy field. Yeah.
Doesn't it take authenticity to love?
That's a question. Well, does it?
To me, that's where real unconditional love comes from, is from that authentic place, that being who I have always been. That's where love radiates from. So maybe it's the chicken and the egg, like.
Yeah, I think the one cannot be without the other, for sure. But I think if you can be in a state of love and still be not 100% authentic. But you can, I think you cannot be 100% authentic if you're not in the state of love. Yeah, that's a very deep thought, I think. That
definitely intertwines.
Yeah, that needs a lot of evaluation, I guess.
So I'm just thinking of people out there. I've met so many, especially women, that are saying to themselves, I'm not good enough. And a lot of it is bringing up in different cultures, religions, where there's so many restrictions and judgments. And it's like they're just constantly just working, striving, working harder and harder, but are never enough, never good enough. And so they just fall into this just like deep shadow, this pit, and just make this wall around them, and that's it. And then they think that self-love is self-care. Like, well, I brushed my teeth today. I love myself. I'm going to go take that bubble bath because I love myself. What would you say is the difference there?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think it has to do with the level of awareness of yourself, that those women think that once you do your bubble bath, that's your self-love and that's your self-care, or that's self-care, and that's why they love themselves. And to a very low level of awareness, that's probably true, but it is not true to your true self. What I mean by that is that to having first this belief, I'm not good enough, that is one of a very, very deep identity beliefs, and which has to do with authenticity. And if you don't go there to that belief and switch it out, it will always rule your life in a way. And then, like you said, you have this wrap around yourself of limiting yourself. It's like here on the outside, you might do this little self-care of bubble bath and brushing your teeth, but to actually do the real self-care and self-love that is needed within you, you don't come to that place because there's this wrap around, it's like the belief is in there, you know, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And then you might put a wrapper around that belief wrapper that makes it stronger and more real to your subconscious, right? And you don't even have the ability to get to yourself and to know yourself in that way. And then it helps if, you know, you ask yourself a lot of questions.
So would you say that's like the first step to start peeling out of that wrapper?
Yeah. If you have belief wrappers, you should definitely use somebody who knows what they are and how to get to the truth, like a coach or maybe even a psychologist if they're trained right. There are lots of NLP people out there who do that on a regular basis, and it can be switched out within minutes. It's an easy fix, but for that, you first have to be open to it. You got to acknowledge that you have a problem in that way, right? That you have that even thought,
Yes.
you know, and it's so common that we actually almost think, well, everybody thinks that way, so it's normal, right? And then it gets rejected and it's not important, right? But I think it is very, very important, especially for us women. And lots of times how we get brought up, you know, like, you got to be this, you got to be that, you know, and or not that and not this, or whatever it is, right? We are getting always limited for happen. And if you don't know it, that you have this subconscious beliefs, then yeah, you're ruled by it. You're ruled by your beliefs. I mean, your whole world is ruled by your beliefs. And if you don't know what they are, then, well, you know, they rule your life.
So the word that keeps coming up for me is courage. Courage to know that you are worth it. Courage to take that stand for yourself and say no. Courage to say, do you know what? I get to take some time for me and go get some coaching, to meditate, to ask myself these questions, know my own beliefs, and know who you are, and then just love that person. But it takes that courage.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that's selfish.
Yeah, right. That's another belief that got put on everybody, right? No, it's I believe that's, yeah, totally. I agree with you. And I guess, you know, if you want to know who you are or change anything or figuring out if is there anything wrong with me or not, whatever. Nothing is wrong with anybody, by the way, right? Then spend a whole day just by yourself, you know, away from people, away from phones, away from computer, away from pets. Just go for a whole day, 24 hours straight, you know, sleep alone for a whole night. And it doesn't matter what you actually do that day or where you are, but just be by yourself. And then there's a lot of clarity that comes actually what is actually mine, you know, and what's not. Other persons, places, institutions that put things on us in our awareness that we should focus on. And that is part of self-love. And this is not egotistic, you know, or selfish to do so. This is healing. And I guess lots of people haven't done that maybe in 10 or 20 years to give themselves a whole day for themselves. Or, yeah.
So what does a whole day to yourself look like? What would you be doing?
That is a good question. I probably would stay in bed all day long most of the time and just write my journals and just observe and learn more about myself. Actually, I like doing that. And the funny thing is, then always I see what's happening, you know, in my life and my thoughts, and then I see, oh, that's happening almost exactly in this person's life too. And sometimes I reach out to people, but then, you know, I would be with the telephone already again, you know.
Not by yourself.
We already excluded that, right? But it comes days later where I reach out and say, hey, thought about that. What do you think about it? I don't know, maybe I would go. It's hard to go away from people because they're like everywhere, right? Unless you're in your own backyard. Maybe just go somewhere where you've never been, you know, with a tent on the beach all by yourself. And I don't know.
Now that would take some courage, at least for me, to go out in tents on the beach by myself.
Yeah, or you can rent a place where you've never been and just for a day, but maybe.
I really like your idea of going to the beach, though, because that would be my spot, whether it's just spending time in nature. Doesn't matter where.
Right.
It could be going
Right.
and hiking and just spending time by a stream or a waterfall. I learned so many lessons from just like watching the water or just seeing the trees.
Yes. They are
Being creative
truth.
with the clouds. That I just feel like every moment has its messages, and nature can really bring that to you. Or
I agree.
I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Oh, love nature.
Yeah, me too. I dig in the yard. Play with worms.
Play with worms. So, besides spending that quality time with yourself to figure out your beliefs and know your true self, anyone out there that is really struggling with their own self love and self acceptance, somebody out there in podcast land that is listening to this conversation, do you have a message for them?
Everyone is a divine being, and we are all divinely created. We are all so worthy of everything and of everything good. And you are enough always. That's why you're here on this planet. I believe that. That is phenomenal. I wish everybody would come to that conclusion one day. And the possibilities out there are limitless. And so is every person, they are limitless expansions of love. That's how I see everybody, even the homeless person who lives at the beach, I still see that person as a divine being. They deserve everything and they are amazing. I wish everybody could have those beliefs about themselves and others too.
How would that change this world?
Wow. Even if only 10% of this world would think like that, it would be a tremendous transformation into higher consciousness, higher awareness, better everything, better health for everybody. Yeah. All on so many different paths, so journeys. So exciting. And I know there's so much more in this life for everybody out there that what most people think, they always look to other people who have done great things and think, wow, this person has done this and that, and whoa, amazing. But if they could realize that they exactly can be the same, amazing, have this amazing life, whatever they want to do with it, right?
Right, we still have this greatness in us, and it's just having that courage to get it out and share it with the world. To not show it off. No, that's the ego. Right. But self-love is share it. Share yourself. Share who you are.
Yeah.
Share that love.
Share the love. Yeah. Be that love. And then, they all want to have it too, and they all get it already automatically. I believe if you're with a person who truly is love, in the state of love, you have a hard time not being in the state of love. It's just like
my experience between me and my husband Travis. Both of us do have that self-love. And because of that, when we combine our whole selves as one, it's just magnifies.
Right.
Now, would you like to add on to that?
I don't know what I would. It magnifies it. That's exactly what it is. So if you have, this privilege to be with a partner who loves themselves as well as you, then man, you lift each other up like crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like that. It's automatic. You can't avoid it.
Well, I see in so many relationships, I need this person for this. I'm not complete without this person.
Yeah, no, then you depend your love on something or somebody, and that's not love. That is dependence and manipulation. Yeah, there's something not right. There's a belief that is stuck.
That's why it's so important that you bring up the importance of loving yourself, because I get that you really get to fill our own cup with that love in order to allow it to overflow to others, be able to give. Like, we cannot give what we do not have.
Right.
So to show up in a relationship where you're just like, nobody loves me, like, it's probably coming from a state of not loving yourself.
Absolutely.
And the importance of, maybe that's where you're like, this really needs to get out there. We need to talk about self-love, is for those individuals that are looking for somebody else, something else, not necessarily a person or a boyfriend, but a new car, a new house, new dress, new shoes, whatever, to complete them. And it really comes down to just love yourself. Just love yourself first, and then everything else will just show up.
Yeah, it will be added onto you. It is. It is.
Oh, this is a fun conversation. So just one of the things I ask all my guests is, and you are like, when I first asked on my first episode, you wrote me this great text of what it means for you to radiate health and wellness. So now I would like to ask you now to share with everyone else, because you answered such an amazing, beautiful response. So what does it mean to you to radiate health and wellness?
I don't remember what I wrote here.
And now you get to think about it.
Yeah. Well, today I would say what it means to be authentic. You know, is this, once you love yourself and be authentic, then you just radiate health and wellness. It just is.
What is health?
Is when all systems work properly, I would say. Physically, mentally, and spiritually. And we are mostly on a spiritual journey here, and that would be my first priority, to get into the spiritual aspect of yourself, to straighten things out and make things work properly, which then comes back to, okay, observe your beliefs. Who are you? You know, once you know who you are, you can be authentic, you can love yourself, and then health is just happening because it comes from the inside. Everything is inside. Clear with yourself, the body will clear itself, you know, the mind will clear itself. It's just one thing leads to the other, and then it radiates it.
Yes, I agree. It's like your body knows what your thoughts are thinking. And when your thoughts are thinking, my body is terrible, it's not getting along with me, well, it's because it's receiving those thoughts, just as if you were receiving thoughts from some other figure just trashing you, you feel terrible. So when you trash your body, that feels terrible. When you come from a place of self-love and you love yourself internally, you're authentic being, that person you've always been, then your body responds to that accordingly. And
it does. You can attack radiate health from many different sides, from the spiritual side, the mentally side, then whatever you put in your body or on your body. And the clearer it is, the cleaner it is, the better effect it has on all the other levels, mentally, physical, spiritually. So we should not leave one or the other out, you know.
Yeah,
address all of them. Yeah, it's I guess that's why we're here, you know, like, remember where we come from and get a straight line up there and be authentic and love. Everything else falls in place.
So is that the purpose of life? That's a deep question, I know. But seems like you just answered it.
But that's what I think right now about it. Yeah. Go back, know who you are and where you come from. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Do what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. And yeah. Inspire others.
I was just listening to something earlier about the difference between informing and inspiring. So what does that mean to you?
Well, informing means just, like the word says, inform, right? It is the density of the being, you know, you're just mentally know something. Inspiring, as in spirit, means you have completed that information into your spirit and you live it, and then you can authentically also talk about it or be it. Just being it is enough. You don't need to actually talk about it. It will be addressed, without words to anybody else. So that, I think that is the difference. How would you see it?
Well, you are definitely the pure example right now, being inspirational for being your true self, having that self-love. And that's why I asked you to come on today with me. It's not about just informing to me of, you can give people pamphlets and books and inform them this is what you should and shouldn't do, and information. In the world today, this is the time of information. So much information is coming together. There's so much information coming to us right now that we get to learn how to tune into ourselves and be guided from inspiration of what information to allow in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally different way to look at it, but yeah, I can see that.
So, and then to look for people that are not just giving information, but inspiring, to be radiating from the spirit within, to feel that, and just go more with the heart process, or in spirit than knowledge and text and books.
One is just really taking it in information.
Yeah.
And inspiring is, once you got something and you live it, then you are inspiring. Have transcended the knowledge to the being it.
So yeah, goes right into self-love and everything we've talked about with self-love. Well, Ines, thank you so much. You are, just coming on, that inspirational being of self-love. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Mahalo for being part of this intuitive conversation. This week, I invite you to take time to just truly love yourself. Take a day to prioritize your well-being. Look at your beliefs and your values and discover just how incredibly beautiful and unique you are. Trust that wise voice inside and embrace the love you deserve for the beautiful person you are inside and out. And if you're feeling stuck in just thoughts of self-doubt, I deserve some guidance to support you in examining your beliefs and truly getting to know yourself. I am here to support you every step of the way as your personal coach. So please reach out to me by email, radiate.hw@gmail.com, or through my website, radiatehealthandwellness.com, or connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, or leave a comment below. And so also, for more tools to support you on your journey, please sure to check out my books, Discover the Adventure of You and Health Beams. So both are available on Amazon and my website, radiatehealthandwellness.com. And if you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, please share this episode with them. Just that simple act of sharing could offer the insight, peace, and transformation they've been seeking. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. So remember, you know yourself better than anyone else. Trust your inner wisdom to guide you. And at the end of the day, you are the creator of your own life. You have the power to shape how you respond to challenges, how you care for yourself, and how you show up for the world. So take a deep breath, tune into yourself, give yourself just another big hug, and trust that you've got what it takes to handle whatever life throws your way, and radiate health and wellness in all that you do.